Hi guys. Just about everybody I know has been into CZ for years and years, and most of them have 5 or 6 or 10 CZs. This is my first CZ. I just never got the bug for CZs for some reason. I saw this one and it was love at first sight. I had to have this one. This is the CZ75 D Compact PCR. As my southern dad used to say, these things are scarcer than hen's teeth. CZ cannot make these things fast enough. As soon as they're in stock, they're sold out. I had to get on a waiting list for this. During this time of panic buying, I was still able to find this for substantially under the list price. List price on this gun is $613. I got it for substantially under $600. And kicking myself because about a month ago I could have got this for about 50 bucks less, but it's definitely worth the price I paid for it. So let's take a look at what's in the box. Full disclosure, this is a fake unboxing. I have had this out and had it to the range. Put a couple hundred rounds through it, but you'll get the general idea here what's in the box. You get your standard bicycle lock. Oddly enough, this is not branded. It doesn't say CZ on it. Just a generic bicycle lock. I guess they save a buck there. It's got a very nice multi-language user manual, which it's a general purpose user manual that covers a bunch of different CZ models. This is not the most convenient way to do this. There's a warranty card right here. I'm not going to take it out. I can't get it for some reason. There's a warranty card right here. Right here. You get your basic cleaning rod, bore brush. I tend to not use the ones that come with the gun. I like to save those so if I ever go to resell it, or whatever, I've got all the original equipment in brand new condition. That's just me. I like to use a second party, third party cleaning kit. Comes with 2 magazines. These are 15 round magazines, even though most of the paperwork you'll see will say these are 14. They are 15 round magazines. They're marked for 9 and 40 Smith & Wesson. These are Mekgar magazines. You don't need to say anything else other than that. Mekgar makes the best magazines you can get. Very happy with that. Comes with 2 15-round Mekgar magazines, steel. And they do have, they're not marked Mekgar, but they are made by Mekgar. And they have a little CZ logo right there. Just a nice little touch. Now to the gun itself. I probably should have wiped this down with the cloth first. It may have a couple of oily spots. It's just beautiful. The machining on this is incredible. You have the rubberized grips. The newer versions of the PCR have the black trigger, which matches the black polycoat finish. The finish on this is just unbelievably nice. And there's an oily spot right there, so it's just because I didn't wipe the gun down after using it. Magazine release, it is not ambidextrous, but I believe you can switch it to the other side. I have not looked into that because I have no need to switch it to the other side. Slide release here, which is also used to field strip the gun. Decocker lever here. And as I said, rubberized grips. One thing that kind of surprised me about this, and it's mentioned in the magazine, in the in the user's manual. It mentions this, that most of my guns, when I hit the mag release, now this is going to make me a liar now, most of them, the magazine will pop out freely. This, because these are rubberized grips and the grip frame is skeletonized, you can actually feel sticky rubber inside here. And where these palm swells, hair on there, where these, that's unusual, okay, where these palm swells narrow right here, they actually put some resistance on the magazine. Magazines load beautifully. A lot of magazines you have to jam them in there. These click right into place very easily. That's about as far as the magazine usually comes out when you hit the release. And you can feel tension. You can feel it rubbing on the inside of the grip frames. I intend to replace these grips. I'm going to look into getting some lock grips for this. Everybody loves the lock grips. There's lots of colors and choices, textures to choose from. I believe I'm going to go with the lock matrix grips, which are designed for concealed carry. So there's a little bit of resistance there. I noticed after working with it though, it will drop now. First couple of days I had this, it wouldn't drop free. One of the unusual features of this gun is the slide rides inside the frame. Most guns, the slide rides on the outside of the frame. The slide rails are on the outside. The slide rails here, excuse me, are on the inside of the frame, which makes it very stable. You can see here that the rails are on the inside of the frame. There's a few things I intend to change on this. As I mentioned, the grips. It has a polymer guide rod, which I'm not a big fan of. I already have a stainless steel guide rod replacement that I'm going to put in here. Decocker is located right here. There's the fully cocked position. When you decock it, it goes to a half-cocked position, which is the designed position to carry in. So your first trigger pull is a double action pull. You can manually decock it all the way down to the hammer down position, and then you'll have a much longer trigger pull. And here's the single action trigger pull. It also has a loaded chamber indicator here. This little nub pops up when the chamber is loaded. Getting to the negatives of the gun, there are not a whole lot of negatives to the gun. Like I said, polymer guide rod, that's being replaced. That's very inexpensive to do. I don't like the way the rubber grips impede the magazine release. The magazine drags on the inside of the grip. I already mentioned that. With the thin G10 grips, that will eliminate that problem because they won't be touching the mag at all. It'll drop free. That should eliminate that. This has a black smooth steel trigger. The older ones have a stainless steel serrated trigger. It's just a minor change they made. I don't know why they did that. I actually called CZ customer service, CZ USA, and just asked them a couple of questions about that, and they said yes, that is the new version with the black polycoat trigger. It has front and rear cocking serrations. The slide is not really easy to manipulate, and you definitely want to do it with an overhand motion like this instead of trying to grab it this way. There's not a whole lot to grab a hold of there, and it's pretty stiff. The spring, pretty stiff. I mean, it can be done, and it's not the hardest gun that I have to rack, but if you have an issue with hand strength or dexterity, you may have a problem with that. But overhand grip, not a problem. It goes right into place. Not that hard at all. Takedown is accomplished by this pen right here. There are 2 marks right here on the frame and the slide that you line up. I don't know how well I'm going to be able to do this or show it. It's actually best to cock it to the half cock position first, and then it slides right into place. It's a little awkward for me to take it apart from this angle on camera, but that's basically how it's done. You line up these 2 marks, put your finger through the trigger guard, hold it that way, tap or press this pen out, remove it from this side. The slide comes right off. It's very simple. So 3 things most people change out on these guns as soon as they get them: the plastic guide rod, the rubber grips, and the sights. When I first looked at this, I thought those sights aren't as bad as everybody says. They're a little on the small side, but this gun is designed for concealed carry, so I understand that. They made it a snag-free design. There's no way you're going to rack this on a belt or a boot or a table. You know, it's going to be very difficult, if not impossible, to well, I'm going to say impossible. It's going to be impossible to manipulate this slide with one hand. But unless you're John Wick, that should not be a problem. In real life, normal, everyday use, chances of having to rack the slide with one hand are pretty slim. These are not tritium sights. They do glow in the dark, but they have to be exposed to a light source, either sunlight or a flashlight. And when you expose these to a flashlight for a very short period of time, these things will glow like a monster for a very short period of time. I've heard some people say that they will glow for days. What I've seen in my experience with this particular gun, if I charge them with a flashlight, they're super bright and you can literally watch them fade out. They don't hold a charge for very long at all. Now, I haven't tried it in the sunlight. Maybe the sunlight will work better, and I haven't tried exposing it for a long period of time. It's a beautiful gun, and looks do matter to me. I will not buy an ugly gun. Maybe that's why I'm not a huge fan of Glocks. I have owned Glocks in the past, but they're not my favorite. This is just a work of art. The machining on this thing is just incredible. It also has the serrations on the front of the trigger guard for those of you who like to put your support hand over the trigger guard. Nice clean cuts. The finish on this is just remarkable. Just amazing. I've had it to the range exactly one time, put a couple hundred rounds through it, and I gotta say, I did not shoot it well, and that's entirely my fault. Nothing wrong with the gun. I did not shoot it well. I have to get used to the trigger, and I have smallish to medium-sized hands. The grip may be a little bit wide for me. Like I say, I'm going to replace this with the Lock Matrix grips, which will take probably a 1/4 inch off the grip. They're a much lower profile grip, designed for concealed carry. A lot of people complain that these either snag on clothing, rub on skin. When I first got this, these were aggressively sticky. Over time, just over a week or so of handling this gun, the stickiness is pretty much gone. It is tacky. They are fine grips. If your hands are on the larger side, you will love these. And I have no trouble reaching the trigger with small hands, and I have no trouble reaching the slide release or the decocker without moving my grip. It's a well thought out gun, just beautifully designed. Like I said, you'll probably have to get on a waiting list to get one of these. If you can get one anywhere near the list price of $613, it's a deal. If you wait a while till some of this craziness is over, they will be back down in the low 500s. I'm pretty sure they'll come back down. I had to have one right now, so I paid up a little bit for it, but still not anywhere near the list price. So they are out there. Get on the waiting list. it's well worth it. Alright guys, this is basically just an unboxing and first impressions. I'm going to have a lot more on this in future videos. Thanks for watching. Talk to you later.